found it. Don't mind my appearance. You know, it's not illegal to be unkempt. Okay. The Lord said, "Who then is the faithful and wise steward, whom his master will set over his household, to give them their portion of food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master, when he comes, will find so doing. Truly I tell you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if that servant says to himself, my master is delayed in coming, and begins to beat the men servants and maid servants, and to eat and drink and get drunk, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and will punish him, and put him with the unfaithful. And that servant who knew his master's will, but did not make ready or act according to his will, shall receive a severe beating. But he who did not know, and did what deserved a beating, shall receive a light beating. Everyone to whom much is given, of him will much be required, and of him to whom men commit much, they will demand the more." Now this is interesting. You know, here's Jesus talking about severe beatings, beating people severely. And that servant who knew his master's will, that the servant of God who knows what God's will is, but does not make ready or act according to God's will, shall receive a severe beating. One who did not know and did what deserved a beating shall receive a light beating. There is another one. It's where a new king shows up. I'm just going to wing this one. A king shows up and is given kingship, and some of his subjects deny his authority. And I can't remember exactly what goes through it, but he goes through it with them to the end where he attains his kingship, and he orders all of his enemies, and this is Jesus speaking it. He orders all of his enemies to be brought before him and slain. I'd like to find it. But you know, that's some serious stuff. There's so many little parables. As they heard these things, he proceeded to tell a parable, because he was near to Jerusalem, and because they supposed that the kingdom of God was to appear immediately. He said, therefore, a nobleman went into a far country to receive kingly power, and then returned. Calling 10 of his servants, he gave them 10 pounds, and said to them, trade with these till I come. But his citizens hated him, and sent an embassy after him, saying, we do not want this man to reign over us. When he returned, having received the kingly power, he commanded these servants to whom he had given the money to be called to him, that he might know what they had gained by trading. The first came before him, saying, Lord, your pound has made 10 pounds more. And he said to him, well done, good servant. Because you have been faithful in a very little, you shall have authority over 10 cities. And the second one came, saying, Lord, your pound has made 5 pounds. And he said to him, and you are to be over 5 cities. Then another came, saying, Lord, here is your pound, which I kept laid away in a napkin. For I was afraid of you, because you are a severe man. You take up what you did not lay down, and reap what you did not sow. He said to him, I will condemn you out of your own mouth, you wicked servant. You knew that I was a severe man, taking up what I did not lay down and reaping what I did not sow? Why then did you not put my money into the bank, and at my coming I should have collected it with interest? And he said to those who stood by, "Take the pound from him and give it to him who has the 10 pounds. And they said to him, Lord, he has 10 pounds. I tell you, that to every one who has will more be given, but from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. But as for these enemies of mine, who did not want me to reign over them, bring them here and slay them before me." I want everybody to think about those two little parables there. If you know God's will, and you do not act according and make ready to do his will, you will receive a severe beating. If you do not know God's will, and you do what deserves a beating, you shall receive a light beating. If you deny the kingship of God, he will take everything that you have from you, give it to those who have abundance already, and his enemies will be slain, brought to him, put before him, and slain. Yeah. So there you go. That's right out of the Bible now. How many people, honestly, how many people have considered those two? I don't know.